Hello, Pastor David here from Central Schwenkfelder Church. And today's devotion comes from the idea from the Gospels that Jesus was a friend to sinners. This is an interesting concept. It's something that Jesus was criticized for by the religious leaders of his day. We read in, for instance, Matthew 11:19 that he was criticized for being a friend to tax collectors and sinners. And then we also read from Luke chapter 15, verse 1, that the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to him. It's interesting to think of Jesus being a friend to those that were outcasts or those that were disapproved of by the moral establishment. Jesus did not approve of what tax collectors did. Oftentimes, they collected more than was necessary to not only fill their quota from the Roman government, but also to take advantage of their own countrymen. And so tax collectors were despised by their peers. And sinners denotes those that were involved in illicit behavior, those that were involved in some sort of lifestyle that was disapproved of. And so it's kind of a blanket statement for those that were involved in things that were looked down upon. But Jesus availed himself to such people. He was approachable, and he oftentimes ate with them and associated with such people so that they would come to know God. When we think of a friend, we often think of someone that we can go to with any sort of problem, that we can communicate the deepest recesses of our heart. If we have a problem or we have a need to get something off of our chest, we go to our truest friends to do that. Jesus would avail himself to people so that they would know who the Father was. He said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me." And Jesus had real compassion. He was willing to speak with anyone. He was willing to minister to their needs. And as a minister of the gospel, that inspires me. That also convicts me, because there are times in which I might prefer someone over another based upon their lifestyle or their reputation. I like what Dane Ortlund says in his book, Gentle and Lowly. He said, "Here's the promise of the gospel and the message of the whole Bible. In Jesus Christ, we are given a friend who will always enjoy rather than refuse our presence." It's a marvelous thing to know that God welcomes us into his presence, to pray, to study his word, to communicate with him, to unload the things that burden us. Our God is an accessible God. Revelation 3:20 says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him and he with me." In the first century, certainly fellowship took place over the dinner table. Food was oftentimes used as a vehicle for communion and fellowship. So I just want to encourage you today as you think about God. Maybe you're at a place in your life where the Lord is not seen as your friend, but he can be. If you put your faith in him, if you turn from your sin and ask him to come into your life, you can find a friend who's closer than a brother, and his name is Jesus Christ. Richard Sibbes, the Puritan, said, "All kinds and degrees of friendships meet in Christ." And Thomas Goodwin said, "Mutual communion is the soul of all true friendship." And so if you're looking for the most dearest friend that you could ever know, look no further than Jesus Christ. May God bless your day.